our last respect to honor Jerry Steinbok. Yonah ben Moshe Aaron, his Hebrew name. Sad for all of us. We will try to at the request of the family to do as much as we can at the synagogue. I'm going to start by reading a short phrase from one of the sages. His name was Havaya ben Ma'alal. And he's saying something that show all of us humility, humbleness. Look at three things and there's no offense. Know where you came from and where are you going, and before whom you are going to give judgment and account. Where did you come? Where did you come from? A stinking rug. And where are you going? To a place of dirt, maggots, and worms. And before whom are you going to give judgment and account? Before the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed be He. I would like to call Jerry's kids, David and Daniel, to do the eulogy.
This is yours. Do you have yours?
No.
All right.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, we are gathered here today to say goodbye to Jeremiah Steinbok, known to his friends and family as Uncle Jerry, Jerry, or Granddad Jerry. My name is David.
My name is Dan.
And we are his sons.
Today we are here not only on behalf of our family, but on behalf of his wife Jacqueline and his stepsons Alan and Shane Emtage. In the spirit of honoring Jerry's memory, we would like to share a few stories about our lives together in Canada.
Okay. Over the last few days, we've received so many calls and messages from friends and family offering support with the news of our dad's passing. We've heard so many stories of his generosity, hospitality, and how supportive he was. My dad had a huge personality, loved his family and friends, and always took care of everyone around him. When we were kids, we lived in Mississauga, and he would have massive pool parties and invite everyone from the neighborhood over. Our basement was always full of kids playing video games and having band practice. He would come home with 12 dozen fresh bagels in big boxes, and we would all help him pack them, but it always ended up that we would eat more than we actually put in the bags. My friends affectionately called my house the Bagel House. Later, as I became a teenager, I moved to Canmore, and he came to visit one time and was supposed to stay at my house, but it was a disaster, and that was a bad thing. He got to know all my friends really well and gathered all 20 of my roommates, took us grocery shopping, and hung out for the week. We all went and hiked around Lake Louise and a few other mountains. One day while I was working, he sold my broke-down beater of a car and just showed up that night where I was working with a new Pontiac 6000. He just wanted to make sure I could get around safely. As I got older and had a family of my own, he would come to Canada for months at a time and just hang out with my family. He would spend hours with my two boys playing Lego, taking them to the park, helping them with their homework. It was pretty great. We would spend a lot of time going to basketball and soccer games, and he would help out with my wife Marie while I was away traveling for work. I'm happy he was such a big part of our lives. My dad would just randomly show up to my work. He would come and hang out with my crew on the job site and take us out for lunch. When I told him I was joining the Army, I think he was originally kind of concerned, but he was still incredibly supportive. While I was away training, he would come visit me at the base and bring grocery bags of food for me. I kept telling him that the Army was feeding me, but it didn't really matter to him. He thought my buddies and I were too skinny and needed to eat more. Food and socializing seemed to be a big part of my dad's life. I'm sure a lot of you have joined him for his favorite Chinese, Indian, or sushi dinners and lunches. There was always so much food to be had, and he had such a big round belly. Somehow he always managed to get a stain on his shirt while he was eating lunch. Shane said it best the other day. I don't know where you are. There. Shane said it best the other day. My dad was the epitome of YOLO. He lived for the moment and I believe he enjoyed every day to the fullest. I know he was very proud of Dan, Shane, Alan, and I. Raising 4 boys couldn't have been easy on him, but he taught us well, and we grew up with his work ethic, family values, and zest for life. My dad truly loved his family and friends, and I hope everyone here today can look back and has positive memories of their time with my dad, as he will be truly missed.
Many of the memories being shared today are from later in his life, but my memories are predominantly of him as a much younger man. In that time, I knew my dad as an adventurer. At first, it started small with showing his family and around Toronto when they would come to visit from overseas, Barbados or Australia, bringing our family, including my Canadian grandparents, to Barbados when we were young children to see how he grew up and to spend time with Ellen and Moses. And then the true adventure started. We would pack into our caravan and suddenly we would be in Kentucky or Washington, D.C. or Philadelphia. One summer we made it as far as the furthest reaches of Newfoundland. That was actually the trip that I learned that gas stations need electricity to refill your tank when you run out of gas. So that was fun, and that was when I found out that he loved deep sea fishing. He started taking us deep sea fishing. That was also the summer I got hit in the eye with a golf club. Hearing my cries, I remember he picked me up and carried me to the ambulance, rode with me to the hospital. We were both covered in blood and stayed with me while I got my stitches. And the adventures continued. Soon we would be in Europe, initially for the cathedrals and the boarding schools, but then for the wine country and the beaches, more his scene. And eventually, probably our biggest adventure, nearly an entire summer in Australia, exploring the cities in the outback and visiting our extended family, including his aunt and uncle on his mother's side. That was the thing about Dad. Wherever we went, there were always friends or family to see and visit and adventure with. One year we went to Vancouver to visit Paul's family, after which we may as well drive over the Rockies to Calgary and Edmonton to visit friends. As you may know, scouting was also a big part of my dad's life growing up. It's something that he made sure that we were involved with too when we were young, and it's part of the reason that I have my son involved now. When it was our turn to join the Scouts, he first joined as a volunteer leader. Eventually he worked his way up to running the troop. One time that meant camping outside in tents in the winter in minus 30-degree weather. We spent a lot of that weekend in a car with the engine running, trying to keep warm, but it was still an adventure. Even when I was no longer able to join him, he never stopped adventuring. I would always hear about a new place he was going, Europe or Africa or Asia. I would like to think it's an impact that he's made on me. I'm now playing catch-up, trying to go back to places he took us when we were young, or to see the places that he talked about. I think we were all just really lucky to have him in our lives, to know his spirit and his generosity. He welcomed his wife my wife into his life like she was his own daughter, and for that I'm very thankful. And when we had my son, he was so proud. And there's so much of having him as a dad that I'm trying to be for my son too. His focus on the bigger picture, on not letting the little things distract you, his clarity of thinking, taking time just to be goofy, and of course raising my son to love being outside and going on adventures too. I'm really proud of my dad for what he was able to achieve in his life, the life that he built for himself, and also the life that he built for us in Canada, and the life that he built for himself here in Barbados. I am saying goodbye knowing that he made a big impact on so many people throughout his life, and thankful for the time that we all shared.
Okay. I'm now going to share a few words from my cousin Melissa, who's my dad's niece. Uncle Jerry was a loving father and stepfather, brother, uncle, and husband. He was a good man, and I thank him for being there for my dad and looking out for him. Uncle Jerry is also the reason I was born in Canada, and I thank him for that. He will be missed and forever loved. Thank you, Melissa.
I'm now going to read a statement from Jerry's nephew, Ricardo Zinocchio, who lived with Jerry in Barbados for several years. Ricardo says, "I knew Jerry. He was my uncle. He was a friend of mine. We spend a lot of evenings walking together with his beloved dog Stella, talking about life, past experiences, and family. For me, he was a mentor, and I'm grateful for everything he taught me. He would often talk about his brothers, for whom he had great admiration, often listing their main qualities. For Paul, it was wisdom, Abraham, resilience, Joseph, integrity, and Martin, intelligence. He also had a tender love for his sisters, Eva and Esther, who are joining us by stream. But when he would truly brighten up was when he would talk to me about his wife Jackie, the love of his life. You were the sun that would brighten his days. In time, I learned that what would bring Jerry joy was making the people he loved happy. It didn't matter if it was family, friends, or community. We would go to the fish market to buy a pack of fish, and then we would drive around the island to give it to longtime friends and people in need. Or he would buy flowers for his wife to surprise her. Another time he would invite all of Shane and Alan's friends over for lunch or dinner. And when Christmas came, all of us nephews' favorite present was Jerry's famous envelope. Jerry was larger than life, and this cannot be denied. He would do anything to see his loved ones happy. Jerry was also a man of the people. It didn't matter your social status, he would be kind, funny, and respectful to everyone he met. He had great respect for his kids, David, Daniel, Alan, and Shane. I assure you, he was proud of all of you and proud of the men you became. He held all of you in high regard. You all honored him with your successes. Jerry learned how to carry himself and be a man from Mr. Adrian Roach, who was like a second father to him. Jerry also learned generosity from his father Moses, as giving back is one of the blueprints of the Steinbok family. Jerry carried Moses' teaching for all his life. As there is no greater honor and nothing gives more dignity to a man than helping those in need, seeing them thrive, and putting a smile on their face. Family, friends, and community, we all loved him dearly. He will be missed. He will not be forgotten. May he rest in peace. Thank you, Ricardo.
Okay. Thank you so much to everyone who was able to join us today to celebrate the life and legacy of our dad. We are so thankful that you have all taken the time out of your day to be here with us, and for all the people who can't be here in person, thank you for watching. We hope the memories he has left you with are some of your best. It has been incredible to hear the stories that you've shared since his passing. So thank you so much to everyone who has helped us through this last week. My uncles Martin, Joseph, Paul, and Abraham, and Jackie, and his friend John. Thank you very much. Okay? I know you will miss him like we will. Okay?
Thank you, David and Daniel, for a wonderful eulogy. And you've pretty well said everything I would have said anyhow. So I just say a few words. So the Steinbok brothers and sisters were 7, we're now 6. And I was the oldest, and Jerry came next, just barely a year younger than I was. And we grew up together. We're very close. We shared the same bedroom throughout the time that we were growing up. We played together. We fought together. We had the same friends in this neighborhood. And after we left and I went to Jamaica, he went to Canada, we remained close. We weren't close geographically, but we were close to each other. When I left Jamaica and went to Canada, Jerry hosted me in his apartment in Toronto. My sister, Eva, was there already with him, and he was generous to allow me to stay with him and Eva in the apartment, and we had a fantastic time together until I left Toronto and ended up in Vancouver. but we continue to be close to each other. We went to Mississauga to visit with him. He came to Vancouver occasionally to visit with us. And we even spent a week over on Vancouver Island, which I continue to remember fondly. We were at the beach, all the families, the cousins together, having a fantastic time. And Jerry was in his element. He was just showing us how to shuck oysters and eat clams. And he knew it all already, so it was great. So Jerry himself was always the fun type of person, outgoing. I was somewhat reserved. He was always chatting, always making friends, as you heard from David and Daniel. And he continued like that throughout his life. People loved him. We all loved him. And he found it really easy to make friends. He was generous, as you've heard. And he was very much part of our family. He loved the family. And when it finally came to the fact that we created a family WhatsApp so we can chat as a family group, Jerry was one of the most avid supporters of that group. And he was always there looking at what people were saying, very supportive if there were any challenges that any members of the family had. I think you've heard a lot about him from David and Daniel, and it's all quite correct. For me, I have a major loss for me. He's the first of our brothers and sisters to go. I was always fond of him. We always had a good time together, and we'll remember him very fondly as we go forward. He will not be forgotten. And may his memory be for a blessing. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Carol, Jackie's sister for those who do not know me, and I'm honored to say a few words on behalf of the Roach family. Jerry came into our life in the late 60s. During summer vacation, Bajan families spent time at Kahalwash and Bathsheba. But because my mom and dad worked 7 days a week, we never got to go. So I begged my dad to rent a house one summer, and he did, the only house in River Bay, his favorite place. So Friday evening, we move in with a nanny and a cook. Boring. But what we did not know is that Harson's College's Scout group, of which Jerry was a part, would be moving in that Saturday. So, only house with water, electricity by putting 25-cent coins in, and when it ran out, pure darkness, a black and white TV, food, and 2 girls. The best holiday we ever had. And from then on, my dad sent for Jerry every Friday and took him back to Palm Beach on Sunday nights. Jerry did everything with my dad: fishing, shooting in the swamp, casting nets, and of course, lots of eating. Thank God I was the cook. Jackie was a waste of time. He was the son that my parents never had. He left for Canada when he was 19, and on his many returns to Barbados, my parents were always a priority for him. He was generous to a fault. I used to say to my dad, don't say to Jerry that you think you would like, because I know it would be there in no time. He and Jackie were married for 19 years, and he accepted Alan and Shane as his own. And Alan may not remember this, but as he once said, he makes my mum happy, and that is all that matters. Jerry made a lot of us happy, and it does matter. He was my brother before he was my brother-in-law, and he will be very missed. May his blessing be a memory.
We're going to continue with chanting some. We're going to continue with Psalm 91. I'm going to read it in Hebrew, and then I would like to ask Abe Steinbok to come and read it in English. יושב בסתר עליון בצל שדי תונן. אומר לאדוני מחסי ומצודתי, אלוהי יפתח בו. כי הוא יצילך מפח יקוש, מדבר אבות. בעברתו יסך לך, ותחת כנפיו תכסה. צינה וסוחרה אמיתו. לא תירא מפחד לילה, מחץ יעוף יומם. מדבר באופל יהלוך, מכתב ישוט צהריים. יפול מצדך 1000, ורבבה מימינך, אליך לא ייגש. רק בעיניך תביט, ושלומת רשעים תראה. כי אתה, אדוני, מחסי, עליון שמת מעונך. לא תאונה אליך רעה, ונגע לא יקרב באוהליך. כי מלאכיו יצווה לך לשומרך בכל דרכיך. על כפיים ישאונך, פן תגוף באבן רגליך. על שחר ופתן תדרוך, תרמוס כפיר ותנין. כי בי חשק ואפלתהו, אסגבהו כי ידע שמי. יקראני ואענהו, עמו אנוכי, בצרה אחלצהו ואכבדהו. אורך ימים אשביעהו ואראהו בישועתי. אייב סטיינבוק.
You who dwells in the shelter of the Most High, who abides in the shadow of the Omnipotent, I say of the Lord, who is my refuge and stronghold, my God in whom I trust, that he will save you from the ensnaring trap, from the destructive pestilence. He will cover you with his opinions, and you will find refuge under his wings. His truth is a shield and an armor. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, the pestilence that prowls in the darkness, nor the destruction that ravages at noon. 1,000 may fall at your left side, and 10,000 at your right, but they shall not reach you. You need only look with your eyes, and you will see the retribution of the wicked, because you have said, the Lord is my shelter, and you have made the Most High your heaven. No evil will befall you, no plague will come near your tent, for he will instruct his angels in your behalf, to guard you in all your ways. They will carry you in their hands, lest you injure your foot upon a rock. You will tread upon the lion and the viper. You will trample upon the young lion and the serpent. Because he desires me, I will deliver him. I will fortify him, for he knows my name. When he calls on me, I will answer him. I am with him in distress. I will deliver him and honor him. I will satiate him with long life and show him my deliverance.
Thank you. Psalm 23. מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואה לו אחסר. בנאות דשא ירביצני, על מי מנוחות ינהלני. נפשי שובב, ינחני במעגלי צדק למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות לא ארע, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי. לישנת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. Would like to ask Joe Steinbok to read it.
A psalm by David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall lack nothing. He lays me down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He revives my soul. He directs me in paths of righteousness for the sake of his name. Though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they will comfort me. You will prepare a table for me before my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil, my cup is full. Only goodness and kindness shall follow me all the days of my life. And I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for many years.
והוא רחום יכפר עוון ולא ישחית, וירבה להשיב אפו ולא יאיר כל חמתו, אדוני יושיע מלך יעננו ביום קורנו. והוא רחום יכפר עוון ולא ישחית, וירבה להשיב אפו ולא יאיר כל חמתו, אדוני יושיע מלך יעננו ביום קורנו. והוא רחום יכפר עוון ולא ישחית, וירבה להשיב אפו ולא יאיר כל חמתו, אדוני יושיע מלך יעננו ביום קורנו.
And he is merciful, he will atone for iniquity, and he will not destroy, and many will repay his father, and he will not stir up all his anger.
Thank you. For the next part, I would like to ask Rabbi Eli Taikin to read in Hebrew Tziduk Adin.
צדיק אתה אדוני ויושר משפטך, צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו וחסד בכל מעשיו, צדקתך צדק לעולם וסירתך אמס, משפטי אדוני אמס צדקו יחדיו, באשר דבר מלך שלטון ומיום למד תעשה, והוא ואחד מישיבנו ונפשו יוסה ויועש, קוטן וגודל שם הוא ועבד חופשי מאדוניו. הם בעבודיו לא יאמין ובמהלכיו ישים תהלה, אף כי אין איש רימו ובן אדם תליה. הצור תמים פועלוי כי כל דרכיו משפט, אל אמונה ואין עוול, צדיק וישר הוא, דיינו אמס, שופט צדק ואמס, ברוך דיינו אמס, כי כל משפטיו צדק ואמס, בלעם מוות לנצח, ומוח אדוני אלוהים דימו מעל כל פנים, וחרפה שמו יסיר מעל כל ארץ, כי אדוני דיבר, יחיו מסך ולעשי יקומון, הקיצו ורעננו שכני עפר, כי טל אוירס תלך, וארץ רפואים תפיל, והוא רחום יכפר עוון ולא ישחיס, והרבה להשיב אפו ולא יאיר כל חמתו, אדוני יושיע מלך יעננו ביום קורנו.
Martin Steinbok.
You are righteous, my Lord, and your judgments are just. The Lord is righteous in all his ways, and pious in all his deeds. Your righteousness is righteousness forever, and your law is truth. The judgment of the Lord are true, righteous together. Where King Shilton spoke, and who will tell him what you will do? And he is in one, and who will answer us? And his soul will do. Small and great there he is, and his servants seek from his master. He will not believe in his servants, and he will glorify his angels, because man is deceitful, and the Son of Man is a worm. The creation is innocent, its actions, because all its ways are from judgment. To faith, and there is no injustice. It is righteous and upright. The judge of truth, a righteous and true judge. Blessed is the judge of truth, because all his judgments are righteous and true. Death swallowed up forever, and the Lord God, they say, Lord God, shed a tear from every face. And the shame of his people will be removed from all the earth, because the Lord has spoken. Let them live from my carrion, and let them live. Let the summer and rain dwell in the dust. For the dew will light up the dew, and the land of ghosts will fall. And he is merciful. He will atone for iniquity, and will not destroy, and he will repay his father many, and will not arouse all his anger. Lord Hosea, the king will answer us on the day we read.
Thank you. We're going to now move to the graveside for the final part of this service. have the pages for the Kaddish when you're ready. Not now.
More the Kaddish?
Yeah, not now. I'll let you know. גדול העצה ורב העליליה, אשר עיניך פקוחות על כל דרכי בני אדם, לתת לאיש כדרכיו וכפי מעלליו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולת בו, אדוני נותן ואדוני לקח, יהי שם אדוני מבורך, והוא רחום יכפר עוון ולא ישחית, וירבה לשיר ואפור ולא יאיר כל חמתו. גדול העצה ורב העלילה, אשר עיניך פקוחות על כל דרכי בני אדם, לתת כאיש דרכיו וכפרי מעלליו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולת בו, אדוני נתן אדוני לקח, יהי שם אדוני מבורך, והוא רחום יכפר עוון ולא ישחית, וירבה לשיר ואפור ולא יאיר כל חמתו. גדול העצה ורב העליליה, אשר עיניך פקוחות על כל דרכי בני אדם, לתת לאיש כדרכיו וכפרי מעלליו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי.
You will not let your devotee see evil. Let me know, guest of life, 7 joys, your pleasant face in your eternal right hand.
Mourners Kaddish, everybody together. התגדל והתקדש מרבה. בעלמא דיברה קרותי. אמן. אמן. אל מלא רחמים, שוכן במרומים, אמצא מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, לנשמת יונה בן משה אהרון, שהלך לעולמו. בעבור שאנו מתפללים לעילוי נשמתו של יונה בן משה אהרון, בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו, ולכן בעל הרחמים יסתירהו בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, ותנוח בשלום על משכבך, ונאמר אמן. That conclude the service. We're gonna now cover, and anybody that would like to participate, it's a customary. That's it. Thank you so much, my friend. Sorry that it's in this circumstances.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sorry about your loss. Sorry.